What's good, YouTube? It is your girl Brinks. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am coming to you guys with a movie review. It's been a while since I did a movie review, and I think now that they've done a reboot of one of my favorite horror movies, it's about time to do a movie review. So let's go ahead and cue that intro so we can get into this review, y'all. Alright guys, so a lot of you, if you do not know, they remade the horror movie Hellraiser. Hellraiser is one of my favorite movie series, like, ever. Horror movie wise, that Freddy, Chucky, Amityville Horror, and nowadays, I'm more into like Insidious and The Conjuring and The Nun. All of those type Clive Barker things, you know. I'm into Stephen King stuff. For some reason, though, I cannot find Rose Red anywhere. And that is like one of my favorite Stephen King movies. But I cannot find it anywhere. And like, it's an awesome movie. If you guys have not seen it and can find it, like, I advise you guys to go watch it, because I'm telling you, it is an awesome movie to watch, especially if you like horror as much as I do. But we are going to get into this new 2022 Hellraiser movie. So I know it's a remake, but it's like so very, very different from the original. So very different from the original. And the things that I kind of want to talk about in this video is kind of the plot, the difference in the cubes, because the cubes have changed dramatically. And in this new version of the movie, this cube can transform a lot of different ways that the old cube was not able to transform. There is a female pinhead in the new version. Female pinhead. Then the whole plot has changed. So you guys, we're going to get into that in just a few. I gotta make a stop real quick. Alright, y'all, so let's talk about it. Let's start off first with the new design of the cube. So I had to find a picture of the original cube, and then I found a picture of the newer cube. The newer cube, like I told you guys in the beginning, the newer cube has so many different transformations. First off, like, here's the picture of the old cube, and here's the picture of the new cube. You guys, the new cube has so many different transformations. I feel like they overdid it, and I feel like the fact that they made the cube so
bruh
Seriously, mommy.
take place in this whole story. Like, there's not a scene where the cube is not present. The cube is in the whole freaking movie. Like, the whole freaking movie. Now, in the original movie, there are a good amount of scenes where the cube is non-existent, but you guys know that it's around in there because that's basically what opens up the hell world. But they made the cube like so prominent in this movie that I feel like it takes away from the actual movie plot, so to say, because it really doesn't have a storyline where the cube is not present at all in the movie. So I was definitely a little disappointed in that. And I know that it's a remake, but the original had so much more into it than this remake did. So, getting into that, I want to go into the plots. The original movie starts off with basically Christy's uncle, or they call her Kirsty. It looks spelled Christy, but it's Kirsty. So they have her uncle basically in the family's attic, messing around with a cube or whatever, and he ends up unlocking the cube. And I also have a little scene that I pulled from Google, y'all, because they have this little scene or whatever with him and the candles around him playing with the cube, and he unlocks the cube, and then of course the chain shootout, tearing pieces of his flesh off, and then Pinhead comes out, and then another one of the characters come out, and then it's just like Pinhead picks up the cube or whatever, rearranges it back to its original state, and then everything disappears. This new version, though, however, starts off with this guy in a museum. Starts off with a guy in a museum. So they wind up going into this like big hall type room. I don't know if was a museum or not. I think it was actually like a mansion, because the guy makes a bigger appearance at the end, and he actually is living there. But the cube is on display in the middle of this mansion's museum, whatever it is. And the guy who owns it, however, talks this other guy who comes out of the room into unlocking it. So once he unlocks it, of course, they kept the originality of like the chain shootout, and of course, grab his flesh. And then that's like the beginning of the movie. So then here's where they kind of switch it up. No appearance of Pinhead, though, whatsoever in the beginning of this movie. And to be honest, Pinhead is lacking a lot in this movie. You know, I feel like with him being such a big character of the Hellraiser saga, they did not give, take that back, quote unquote, her, because in the new version it's a her. They did not give her a bigger role than I felt she needed to really pull off this remake role. You didn't really see a lot of her until kind of like the middle to end of the movie, whereas in the other movies, you kind of got a little bit more of a glimpse of Pinhead's character. And I have to say, like, I love the original Pinhead. Like, he's just so, I don't know. It's just like the whole character, it just keeps you in tune and in focus with the whole movie. Like, it just grabs your attention. I've always felt like that about this movie. So, I really don't feel like they gave her a big enough role in this movie. And I like the fact that they're trying to evolve and get women into more different roles, such as like this one. But I feel like they probably should have stuck with a male for this type of role, just for the fact that even though they made the Pinhead a woman, I felt like it's more of a masculine type role, and she was kind of lacking that masculinity that it took to pull it off. So not only did I feel like she didn't really bring the role. I feel like them putting a female into that role was taking away from her femininity and also kind of taking away from the masculinity of the Pinhead character. If that makes any sense, you guys. Because I just didn't feel like she brought it. And not saying that women can have a masculine side because I know that they can, but I just was not feeling it in this role. And I feel like that was something needed to pull off that character. Um all right, back to the plot, you guys. So, lack of Pinhead was one thing that I was definitely disappointed about. And another thing they did in this movie that's not in the original movie is they made it to where the cube basically transformed anywhere in the movie. And not only that, the cube now has like these spikes or whatever that if it stabs you, you are now a victim of the cube. Whereas you would have to actually unlock the puzzle to open up the hell portal. In this new version, if you get stabbed by the cube in any way, shape, or form, you are the next victim of the cube. So, I didn't really like that aspect too much because I feel like, once again, they were overdoing it with the cube. They were overdoing it with the cube. And then, not only that, it doesn't matter who gets stabbed with it or whose blood gets on it or whatever. Wherever. I'm sorry, y'all. Spaced out for a minute. Wherever, like, period. Wherever they got stabbed at, outside, inside, in a car, like, the portals would open. And I'm like, so basically they're trying to make it as there's no way to escape this portal. There is a scene towards the end where one of the girls from the group accidentally gets stabbed in the back. She doesn't accidentally get stabbed in the back. She gets stabbed in the back with a cube, and they try to take her and get her some help or whatever. And like the streets start opening up and kind of cutting off their path to get away from this mansion museum, like again, whatever it was, you guys. The streets start opening and cutting off their path. And then the back of the truck that they're in turns into the freaking portal. And I'm like, how are you guys just making this open up wherever they are? Like, there's no escape. Whereas, if you're in the hospital or if you're in the house, that's the only way the portal was going to open for you in the original movies. This one, they don't care where you are. That portal is opening. If you've been stabbed, it's opening wherever you are. Literally in the back of a van. Literally in the park bathroom. That's actually where it opened up for, I think he was the second victim. He was the second victim, which was actually the main character's brother. Now, there are parts of this movie as well where there's a lot of intimacy. So there's a lot, which kind of gives Hellraiser 3 vibes incorporated into this movie. So I feel like they did a lot of kind of smushing movies together, but they also lost that originality type feel of the movie, which kind of took my interest away from actually being able to enjoy and like the movie, because I didn't feel like, as a remake, they brought what needed to be brought. So like I'm kind of stuck in between like that. All right, guys, I forgot where I left off at, but let's go ahead and finish up this review because I am on a Hellraiser binge right now. Um, Literally watching every movie from beginning to the very, very last one because it's my favorite series. So, literally watching every single movie. So, I had to rewatch the first one before I actually watched the newer one. So, I watched it yesterday. Um, and then I watched the new one. And yeah, I was just overall, is it a horrible movie? No, it is not. Could they have put a lot more work into it? Definitely could have. In a way, it kind of seemed very rushed. And like I said, lacking a lot of parts of the original movies. And I didn't like that too much. I didn't like that too much. I feel like they could have definitely taken away from opening the portal literally everywhere someone got stabbed with a cube in the movie. I feel like they could have given Pinhead more roles if they were going to keep it as a woman's role. They should have found a stronger woman character to play that role who could bring out some fear. I don't feel like she made you fear Pinhead. She didn't make you fear Pinhead whatsoever. Like she was very calm, relaxing. Like it's like a kind of soothing type demon. Like and like I didn't feel like she really brought the fear for Pinhead. Like I didn't get it. I didn't feel it. Um so I feel like they should have probably put more preparation into this. Um they did keep one girl who was the main character through the whole movie, which is definitely a constant, especially with Kirsty in the first two movies. She does make another appearance in the third movie, but for the most part, she is the main character in the first two movies and trying to defeat the puzzle in the movie. Um Another thing, I'm just going to touch on this last thing, you guys, and then we're going to go ahead and conclude this video. Another major thing that I was disappointed with this movie was they did not include some hallway scenes of the Hell world. So, if you guys have seen like any of the original movies, you know that Hellraiser has scenes where you can literally go through the portals down these hallways, these creepy hallways where demons are like hiding all in the hallways trying to attack you and whatsoever. It's like a whole freaking maze. None of that was included in this movie. None of it. They would give you a glimpse of like the hallway once the portal was opened from in the real world, but you didn't actually get to venture into them and like see the monsters. Like they have a really, really creepy monster in the first one, and it's like two monsters in one. And if you guys have seen it, you know exactly which monster I'm talking about. That monster makes an appearance at the end, and it also makes an appearance when Kirsty is going through the hallway through the hell world. So, like, I really felt like they could have added some scenes of that in this movie as well. It could have added to the horror factor. Like, the movie just was not giving the fear, it was not giving the horror. And, like, I'm actually really disappointed in this remake. I am. And if anybody else is like me who loves this Hellraiser saga, then they will definitely agree that this movie is definitely lacking. I mean, there's just so much they could have done to evolve this and stretch the storyline out, and they just did not do it. They did not give what was supposed to be gay. They did not, y'all. They did not. But that's pretty much all I'm going to speak on this, y'all. I was disappointed. I was definitely disappointed. Yeah. So, feel free to go check it out, you guys. It is on Hulu. If you guys have Hulu, then you can definitely watch it. If not, don't waste your money and pay for it. But if you already paying for Hulu, it's right there at your fingertips, y'all. It's right there at your fingertips to watch. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. And if you definitely like the originals as much as I do, let me know if I'm right. Let me know if you're feeling what I'm feeling. So that is the end of this video, you guys. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more movie reviews. I am definitely going to try to keep them up. I currently only do them for like horror movies, because I like horror movies, but I can try to branch out a little bit more, because I feel like this kind of gives you guys a different side of me versus my usual doing makeup or doing a hair type video. So I like you get to see like all sides of Brink. So I just want to keep it real with y'all, let y'all a little bit more into my world, what I like, what I'm kind of into, and what I'm doing besides the usual beauty foundations. But like I said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Until next time, I will see you guys. Bye.